right, good morning everybody. Thursday, January 22nd. We're getting ready to go here pre-trip. Got our paperwork started. Real short because I'm a little bit behind, so and I got to go up and talk to my dispatcher in the office quick before I go. So we're getting ready to roll. I'll tell you what we got later on when we talk to you. Alright, so we are topping the little hill called the Ridge Cup here on 309 heading north toward Tamaqua. What we have today is one Tamaqua to Fogelsville, and one well in the woods to Lansdale, and then one well in the woods over to Redding. So, not a bad day. A little bit longer than if we took our third load down to Fogelsville, but not a bad day. So, normally I don't do a Lansdale on Thursday, but I have a feeling that they're running a little extra water because of this impending snowstorm. They might want to build their supply up of bottled spring water so that if we can't run on over the weekend and Monday, which I don't think we haul down there on the weekends, but Monday they get loads, and if we get what they're calling for Sunday and the Monday morning, then probably nobody's going to be running on Monday because everybody's going to be digging out. So they might be wanting to stock up a little bit. But anyway, yeah, that storm, anywhere from probably 10 to 20 inches the way it's looking. So it's going to be a big storm. Winter storm watches are up already. It's been well advertised in the news and social media. Half the country is going to get wintry weather of some form, be it a major snowstorm, major ice storm, or a mixture. It looks like we're going to stay on the snowy side, maybe mix for a little bit, but it's going to be predominantly snow up here, and unless everything changes in the next 48 hours or so, we're going to get dumped on pretty good. So anyway, we're heading up for this first one, and I think my night shift driver uses that passenger door a lot, and I don't think she got it closed tight because the truck sounds a bit windier than normal, and getting some wind noise out of that side of the truck, so I got to check that once we get here to the well. But it's mild this morning. It's 40 degrees already. Backtrack 24 hours. Yesterday morning when I got to the shop in my Jeep, it was minus 11. So yeah, yesterday was downright frigid, and today is pretty mild. But by the time Saturday comes, we're going to be frigid again. And this snowstorm is actually going to be a very cold snowstorm. When it starts, it may only be in the single digits, and then Sunday's highs are only going to be in the mid-teens. So it's going to be a very cold snowstorm. But anyway, I don't know how much talk I'm going to do with the weather. And of course, I'm going to check computer models and stuff when I get a chance. But anyway, we're almost to the well, and we'll talk to you up there while we're loading. All right, well, we are here. One thing to take note of is how icy the pad is. Like I said, this job gets infinitely more difficult when it snows and when it's cold. This is a solid sheet of ice. You got to really be careful walking. We have ashes, but if we walk out in the snow, it's not too bad. But yeah, she gets pretty slick. Make sure we can stop here. It's a miracle sometimes that the truck actually stays on the pad. Let's see. Where am I at? Hard to see where the concrete ends and the stones begin, because that's where you have to put the drive tires. So, all right, we're there. Yeah, she must keep her stuff in the passenger side of the truck because that door was slightly ajar, and which is why I was getting the wind noise. But we're up here loading, and I'm going to state the obvious at this point. You see, we're back in the Mac. I told you we were probably going to get it, and we did. So yesterday we were running with it. It's running good again. The problem was the rear blew. The front axle, rear diff, something went in it, and that was what was making the noise. And so 3 weeks it took them to fix it, but we got it back. So we're here loading, And boy, like I said, it's a beautiful morning today. It's 40 degrees. I don't need that black winter coat. Just the hoodie's good enough. Yesterday was a different story. It was Arctic. Most of the week was Arctic cold. Today we get a reprieve. Cold front comes through tonight. Tomorrow's going to be cold, and then the gates of the Arctic open up, and Saturday's only going to be high in the teens, low close to 0 or 5 above when the snow starts, and then Sunday's going to be only in the teens with heavy snow, and after that, then more cold air comes. So we are in a deep winter pattern right now for at least the next week. Well, I had planned on recording down at the bottom of the hill, but the guy that just topped the hill and was coming down the other side was flashing his lights at me, so I don't know what's going on. He was warning me about something, so we're gonna have to, I wonder if this is it. It really doesn't affect me, but maybe he was just warning me about that, and somebody might drift over into my lane here because of this guy broke down. I'm not sure, but RCB doesn't work. I need to get coax and an antenna before I put one of my good CBs in here, so I'm going to have to do the light flash thing too at guys coming up the mountain. So, well, I guess this is what those guys were flashing their lights about. I just called our one driver that was going up the hill to tell him about the broke down truck, and he proceeded to tell me about an accident down here at this intersection, which is one of the reasons why I was going to turn the camera on in the first place, was to point out how dangerous this intersection can be down here with cars pulling out in front of you as you're coming down off this hill, and evidently this is what we got here. So we're going to back it way down so that we don't get anybody mad at us or blow anybody away or anything like that. Looks like we got that truck. Let's see, where are we gonna avoid most of the broken shrapnel? Oh, that's pretty nasty. Wow, that's a pretty good hit. I guess he caught that grain truck. Oh, yeah, I hope everybody's okay. Alright, well, I guess we're going to make a long video today, because like I said, I wasn't expecting to do one up top, but I wondered why the guy was flashing his lights at me, and it turns out that it was for this on the bottom, not the broke down truck on the top. I wish my CB worked. I got to get out. I don't know if I'm going to be able to this weekend with the snow coming, but I got to get coax and an antenna so I can put my CB in here. This is bad. I can't talk to nobody and let them know what's going on down here. All right, so we have a rare moment where we have the place to ourselves, and God, how beautiful it is today. It is probably 40 degrees down here, and maybe it isn't even that warm, but after minus 11 yesterday morning, it feels like it's 60 degrees, but I mean, it may only be 35 or 40, but it's just flat out gorgeous this morning. And I'll take it, because I know what's coming for the next week, maybe 2 weeks. It's just going to stay cold, and we're going to get at least this big snow this weekend, and then maybe more snow later on next week or next weekend. So I'm just going to be in the deep winter for a while, but this is gorgeous. Had the place to myself, unloading right away. And you go use the restroom here in a minute and just sit outside and enjoy a little bit of sun, and then we'll be heading back up to the well in the woods so we can get our Lansdale load. For what it's worth, standing here right now, I don't even really need this hoodie. I'm that warm. That sun is warm, the air temperature is warm, and I could probably shed the hoodie and still be comfortable down here. This is incredible after what the temperatures were yesterday morning at this time. All right, all emptied out, making our way back up north here on 100. Got a nice wide open road for a change here. A lot of times come up here and either has some four-wheelers in front of us or a slow truck. But we got a nice wide open road ahead of us. So far today's going fairly well. I mean, now I see a couple of four-wheelers up there, but it seems like they're moving along pretty good. basically that's all I ask of anybody, is to do the speed limit or thereabouts. You come up this way sometimes and you get behind somebody, it's only doing 40 miles an hour and it's a 55 mile an hour road. Now, a big truck gonna slow down coming up this hill, but especially the cars, the four-wheelers, doing 40 miles an hour in a 55 just drives me a little bit batty. All I want to do is the speed limit. I want to keep pace and keep time and stay ahead of my fellow drivers, and you get behind somebody slow and then it starts messing with the pace of the run, because we've got multiple trucks that load at the same places and go to the same places, and if you get slowed down by something, then all of a sudden we start to bunch up. The idea is to maintain our pace and not get in each other's way. So, you know, if we do get in each other's way at the well and we have to wait, or one of the plants and we have to wait, so be it. But when you get held up by somebody slow, then it gets a little bit annoying, because, you know, like I said, they could be going faster. And I guess some people feel that, you know, they're retired or whatever, they have all the time in the world to go where they're going, no hurries, no worries, but we've got schedules to keep, and they don't realize just how much they hold us up. So, when they go extraordinarily slow. Otherwise, that being said, just a nice ride up here today. Oh boy. Well, generally we have good fortune coming in here, but doesn't look like it today. We got two trucks in here loading. Well, one's loading, one is waiting. Now, on a personal level, I hope that the Blue Peterbilt is the one loading and the guy in the gray Western Star is the one waiting, because I prefer to load on the side that the Blue Peterbilt is on. I don't know why, but that is my preference. So I'm hoping that he is loading first, but I don't think so. He just got his clipboard out now, so I got a feeling I'm gonna have to take where the Western Star is. Well, it was the guy in the Western Star that was loading first, so we're on the side that both sides work. It's not that it really matters which side I load off of, but for some reason I just started loading off that side, so I'm more comfortable with it. I'm used to it. I know where to put the truck. I may not be back far enough here. You have to stay out further away from the curb because of how long the hose is. So once I'm done talking to you guys, I'm going to go back to make sure I'm back far enough and not out too far, and I'm not in too close. It cones back there, but sometimes it's not easy to judge it. So we'll see what we got, and then we'll talk to you later on once we're here by ourselves loading. Well, as you can see, I had to put the winter coat back on down here. It didn't get any colder out as far as the ambient temperature is concerned, but we're down here in the woods, and this is a shady well instead of a sunny well like the other ones are. And down at the plant in Fogelsville, it was sunshine, and it was really nice and almost felt spring-like down there in Fogelsville anyway. But up here, it got cold, and then you add in the wind that I just showed you, and it put a wind chill into the air. It's not, like I said, it's not the ambient temperature that got colder, but it got windy, so it makes it feel colder. But anyway, the other two guys are gone. We're loading. About 15 minutes. Well, wait, here comes a big gust. 15 minutes, we'll be out of here and rolling ourselves. So we'll talk to you on the way down to Lansdale. All right. Yeah, you know the routine, my famous catchphrase, we are loaded and rolling. So, coming out the end of the lane here, nothing coming, we can get going. Like I said, it felt cold back in there loading this one up. With that wind and the shade, it just felt cold. So, but we're going out the road here, and I've showed it to you before, but once we get around these bends and over the hill, and I mentioned this on the way down to the Fogelsville plant about blowing and drifting. This road might become nearly impassable at times after this storm. If we get the 10 to 20 inches that the computer models are kind of spitting out right now, if those verify and we get that kind of snow and then the storm is followed up with a wind element, you get 30-mile-an-hour winds on that dry, powdery snow, and this road is probably going to drift shut more than once. Because if you get that much snow, the plow bankings are probably going to be 2 to 3 foot high on either side of this road. And you add the wind blowing across these open cornfields up here once we top this hill, and you got a 2 to 3 foot bank. The wind is going to carry that snow over that bank, and it's going to drop it right onto this road. And this area between here and that tree line up there before we get to the green barn in the intersection is probably going to drift and maybe drift shut a couple times, because we're heading north. The winds will be out of the west after the storm blows through, so they'll be coming from our left, right across, straight across that field. So it ought to be an interesting few days post-storm next week. I don't know that anybody's even going to work Monday, because the storm is supposed to start Sunday morning, and it's supposed to be a long duration event that's going to probably go in at the minimum Monday morning, but maybe till about noon. And so it's going to be hard to get anybody out before the night shift, because everybody's going to have to dig out their properties before they can even think of coming to work. Now let's see if we can come right out of here or not. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. I always like it when I don't have to come to a complete stop on that hill, especially making this right-hand turn, because it's a difficult turn and it puts a lot of stress on the drive line. All right, 22 eastbound, get ready to get on 78. You gotta watch these guys here on this ramp. This is the one I always hated when I pulled the 8,000 gallon tank. Everybody stayed put. I don't like that ramp on either end. I don't like it coming down this way, and I don't like it when I was using it to get onto the freeway. Now, if I'm going over to the Allentown Airport delivery, I'll ride that left lane there, because it can get a little dicey. If somebody pulls out in front of you, you may not stop in time. Plus, you give them a little extra room, then they can actually maybe get out. Oops. You got a few of them coming down here, so we'll move over one. Usually I grab that right lane, but a couple of them were coming down off of Tillman Street there. But now I gotta put the signal on. Let them know I'm going toward Philly. There we go. But yeah, the turnpike ramp is so close to that Tillman Street ramp that trying to get on the 22 there is really tough. Unless you got a car that can get moving right away, that's a tough one to come out of, because you can't see what's coming around the curve. And like I said, if I'm not getting off onto the turnpike, I like to stay in that left lane there. Just that way I don't have a chance of somebody pulling out in front of me and causing a problem, and I also give people a chance to actually get out onto the freeway. So either way, it's better to be in the left lane unless you're getting on the turnpike, because then if you're in the left lane, they may come out and not let you back over, and then you won't get on the turnpike. To catch 22 there at that particular ramp, and it would be nice if they would reconstruct it and reconfigure it and make it safer. All right, so we're down here in Lansdale. We're all dropped and swapped already. I didn't show you coming in here and backing in again, because I mean, you've seen it at its most difficult. You've seen it when it's easy. I mean, I'll show it to you again. I didn't bring hat cam this morning because it was a bit of a fiasco at the house, because the wife and I were kind of in each other's way, because she had MRI appointment this morning, so she was going in late to work, and we were both kind of battling for the bathroom at the same time, and I forgot to grab hat cam, so but we'll show it to you again, and like I said, maybe sometime I'll bring hat cam out and you see it from that perspective. But we're here, dropped hooked, we pre-tripped already, and we're ready to go in a few minutes. And much warmer down here than it was there at the well in the woods, because now I didn't need the winter coat again. It's actually kind of nice here in the sun. So it all depends on whether you're in the shade and whether you're getting wind, or whether you're in the sun, as to whether you're going to freeze or whether you're going to be comfortable. And right now it's comfortable, so. But we're fixing to get going here shortly. There's a Job Johnny on the turnpike entrance ramp that I'm going to stop and use instead of walking all the way around the building here, and then we'll be on our way back up to the well in the woods to get that one for Reading. All right, so making our way out to the turnpike, and you see these signs here. If I made a right, I could get to 476. However, there's other signs here that say 3 or more axle trucks, no right turn. So we have to go to the next traffic light and make the right down there at Route 63. Don't know why they don't want us to make that right there. It's like a 4-lane road, but it goes by a few motels, so maybe they just don't want us interfering with the motel traffic. But yeah, so we have to come up here to this traffic light up here and make the right, and that'll put us to the turnpike entrance. It's just a little bit, if you want to call it that, a longer way. Will I be able? I wish there was a green arrow here. I don't know if I can get it in time. Probably. Right turn on red. That truck's still blocking the intersection, so there's no signs that prohibited a right turn on red. So if there's no signs, then it's legal. And so I was able to get it done because that big truck was blocking the intersection, and it might have still been red for the traffic that's coming up behind me anyway. So. But yeah, this is the turnpike entrance off of 63. But had I gone the way that we're not allowed to go, I would have come out here at this little entrance to the right. So, but now up here is a little Job Johnny, and I hope it stays put. I don't know if it's here because of the construction of tearing out these toll plazas, but it's here, and I'm going to use it because it sure beats the hike that it is to walk all the way around the plant and use a Job Johnny there anyway. So we'll just use it here. It's faster to do it this way than it is to walk around the plant. So, all right, that's all taken care of. And now we can be on our way. Just have to wait for traffic to clear here. Start creeping. You know, one more 4-wheeler coming. So yeah, if I'd take that hike around the plant, it'd take me 10 minutes to go use the restroom, and it's a Job Johnny there as well. So Job Johnny, we'll just come up here and use the faster one, so to speak. So we are on the move in on 476 northbound here. Good. Kind of a bumpy ramp, which I knew about, but I don't think I ever shot video coming off the ramp and onto the freeway here. So and once we get out here, we'll just stay in the right-hand lane because they don't want you to lane jump ahead of the toll booth. So we'll just ride this one out till we get up to speed and see if we need to move over to the center lane or if we can stay here. And one thing I gotta say quick before I go is, if my dad were still alive today, he would not recognize this freeway. They moved out to Arizona in 1996, and he was back for a couple of family funerals, and when he flew into Philly airport, this was still all 2-lane all the way up from the east-west turnpike to Allentown and beyond. So all this 3-lane expansion happened since he passed away, and He wouldn't recognize this freeway today. It looks so different. Alright, so we're back here at Dwell in the Woods, and I don't know, maybe I'm going to start just naming these things, but we'll think about that. Each of these wells do actually have an official name, so I don't know. But I call it Dwell in the Woods, the Red Barn, and Tamaqua, so I might just go by what they're actually called in the future. I don't know. Well in the Woods kind of sounds stupid, but anyway. We are loading. We had to wait for one truck here. There was a guy loading up an 8,000, so he's gone. And now it's our turn to load. We'll probably catch him down there because actually there were two trucks here. One left while the other guy was loading. And then I had to wait on this guy, so then he's finished. He's out and he's rolling down the Redding, so I'll probably catch up to him. He might still be unloading when I get there, actually, but it is what it is, and we're doing all right time-wise, so all's good. As long as I don't have to sit down there, as long as those silos aren't filling up like they were on Monday, we'll be okay. So we will see, but again, much colder up here than it was anywhere else, so a winter jacket back on again. But all right, we'll talk to you on the way over there then. All right, well, coming up on 61 here off of 895. We got to make the left turn at this light here. And it is not going to stay green for us, I don't think. I'll be very surprised if it does. It might flip while we're in the intersection. Wow, I'm surprised. I did not think it would stay green for us. We were back pretty far. Holy moly. Made a liar out of me. Not only did I get through, but two other four-wheelers behind me got through. And I thought it would flip. But anyway, now we're on 61. And we got to ride 61 here down through Port Clinton and Hamburg and what the hell else? I can't think of the name of it. Oh my God, Leesport. Oh man, I hate that. I've been through the town millions of times and it just drew a blank on what the name of it was. But yeah, we cut through the Blue Mountain here. I've showed it to you going the other direction. Now we'll show it to you coming at it from the north. Kind of nice picturesque setting in here. And you see the mountains pretty good with the snow through the trees. And we're going to run along the Schuylkill River here in a little bit and see how frozen it is. And even though it's almost 50 degrees today, or at least 45 degrees today, there should be some ice in this river. And it looks like there is. It's probably worse yesterday, but like I said, it's been above freezing most of today, so some of it probably broke loose, but it's still got a nice sheet of ice over the top of it for the most part. And then next week it'll ice back up again, if not before next week, because bottom starts falling out of these temperatures, I guess, tomorrow. So good restaurant there for breakfast, 3 C's. So went through part of the Blue Mountain there, and once we get up over this little hill here and drop down around the bend, then we'll be in Port Clinton, which I have showed you before, but from the other direction. So I'll give you a different look at it. One thing I wouldn't want to do, and you'll see it up here, is there's houses along here. It's a residential street in a way, and these people park their cars. I don't know if they don't have garages or what, but they park their cars out here, and it's legal. It's legal to park on this street, but I don't know that I would want to do it. It's just such a high volume of traffic on here that I don't know that I would want to park these cars on here. Wonder how many of them have been sideswiped over the years. I'd be nervous if I had to park my car out on the street there. Well, I was hoping this light would stay green. I just seen the first of the 2 trucks that were ahead of me rolling northbound empty. So that means the other one has just started. So we're probably gonna have to sit here for about 20-25 minutes till he's done, which I expected, but I kind of maybe figured I would see that dude further up the line and wouldn't have to wait quite as long as I'm going to end up waiting down here. But it is what it is. I've often said that I don't get angry about it. It just happens. You know, I went down to Lansdale, so I wasn't anywhere near the Reading Loop today to fit in between trucks. So, you know, it doesn't always work out the way you'd hope it would work out. So, but still, regardless, I didn't really want to get this light because now that one up there is green, and probably by the time we get to it, it'll turn red, and that's the pull I don't like really doing. I like to get that light up there green. And of course, I like to keep rolling in this left lane. Nobody likes a big heavy truck in the left lane, but since in a quarter mile we got to turn left, I like to be over here because nobody will let me over if I try to do it up here past this light. So they're just gonna have to deal with it whether they like it or not. So if I kind of creepy crawl up here, I should be able to, there we go. As long as they get going. There we go. There we go. I didn't have to stop. It's not impossible to get started at this light, but it's more difficult than on a flat surface. It's a pretty steep hill to get this kind of weight going, but it was worse when I pulled the 8000s because that's a straight up 100,000 pound truck, and you're trying to get it moving from a stop on that hill. It was quite interesting. Now, did I get here in time to get this arrow, or am I gonna have to wait for the next one? Let's see. Might have. Yep, we did. Sometimes if you get to a light too late, the arrow don't come on. But anyway, we are here, and I haven't been here all week since we got that fairly decent snow over the weekend, so I don't know how much space has been cut down by snow piles, but I imagine next week we're going to lose some turning room down here. All right, we're going to see if we can do this. This truck turns a lot better than that Kenworth, so we're going to see if we'll be able to do this. I mean, if they didn't have that, where that green dumpster is where I used to take the tractor up and then push it right back. They really made it rather difficult, but if I get pretty close to this guy, let's hope this works. Otherwise, I'll be spinning around, going out and coming back to Silo 1. See, they keep putting more and more stuff up here and make it harder and harder to do what we need to do. I couldn't have done this with the Kenworth. I could not have done this with the Kenworth. Still gonna have to do some wiggling here to get it close enough to that wall. This is ridiculous. I don't know why they have all this stuff here and then expect us to get into that silo. I'm a truck width away from it. I think I'll be able to do it. Just don't, I gotta watch how far back I go. Come on. Just gotta wiggle her around a little bit, get her close enough to that wall. And I made the other guy laugh when I said I was going to work for it. But this is what I consider working for it. You should be able to do it in one swoop. See, I'm still pretty far away from that wall. I gotta get fairly close. That hose isn't easy to, it's the one that you gotta kind of pull around a little bit too. That might do it. Alright, so this is the one we don't care to use more than we have to when it's super cold out, because you got to get the hose out of that trough and you got to kind of lift it up over your fenders to get it hooked up. And you really got to bend it back this way, because there's the hook up into the pipe that goes into the building. You really got to bend it back pretty far and then take it forward and hook it up. And when that hose is real stiff, when it's below freezing, it is quite the bear to get to do what you want it to do to get it hooked up. So it's much easier at the one over there at Silo 1, where it comes out right out the building and you're right there at the back of the truck. You just kind of swing it around and it's right there in line for you. This one, you really got to bull it around. You got to bull it around a little bit even when it's warm out, but if it's below freezing and that hose starts stiffening up, you really got to work to get it. So we try not to use this one more than we have to. Today that guy was there, and this particular well we can put in either silo, so I'm putting it in this one. So anyway, we got it. We had to wiggle around a little bit to get it in place, and but we got it. It's all lined up. We're unloading now. All the numbers were good from the testing, and all we got to do is wait for it to get done, and then we're out of here and head back over, fuel, and go home. So we'll talk to you a little bit on the way back up and back at the shop like we always do. All right, coming up on New Ringgold here on 895, and one thing that's starting to get noticeable is that the sunsets are getting later, and I'm starting to notice that it's lighter later. 5:30, and we still have a decent amount of daylight. I mean, it's getting dark, but we still have a decent amount of daylight. So days are getting longer. I haven't noticed it quite yet in the mornings, but the afternoons I'm starting to notice it, because at this time it was pitch black back around Christmas. So we're marching towards spring. I can't wait till it's March, but we are marching towards spring ever so slowly. But we've got to get through the rest of January, and we got to get through February. But even March can bring snow. The 1993 superstorm was second or third week of March. For some reason, I can't remember. Was it? I don't remember when it was. I know it was March of 93, but was it the 18th, 19th, 20th? Right around St. Patrick's Day, first day of spring, was when that superstorm hit in 93. And then we had the blizzard of 96, but that was January 6th. But yeah, that March superstorm, that was at least middle of the month, and we got 17 inches of snow and sleet out of that one in Bethlehem, where I was living at the time, and some places did end up getting 2 feet out of that one. That was the one that ran the whole eastern seaboard, and even Birmingham, Alabama had 17 inches of snow. That was a crazy storm. They called it the storm of the century, the superstorm. Had all kind of nicknames, but probably one of the worst we've ever had as far as people who were affected in the urban corridor. The entire I-95 corridor was pretty much shut down. Tornadoes in Florida and snow from Alabama and Georgia right up into New England. And heavy snow, not just a little bit of snow. Even Tallahassee, Florida, I think had some snow out of that at the end. But But usually by March you start coming out of it, you start getting some warmer spells, and sometimes you'll even bump 75, maybe even get close to 80. So winter is breaking by that point, but it can go either way. You can either have a mini heat wave or you can have a major snowstorm. But anyway, making our way back. Like I said, we gotta stop for fuel, and this truck uses more DEF than the other one, so we gotta put some DEF in it, and then she'll be topped off with all her fluids for the night, and she won't have to worry about doing anything but hauling water. So all right, so fueled, DEF added, paperwork done. All we gotta do is walk around the truck, do a quick post trip, and turn everything in, and then we're gonna head home. So can't talk to you too long. The mechanics are still here, and I want to go in and talk to them about something. So we'll talk to you in the next one. I don't know when it's going to be. Maybe on Sunday or Monday with the snowstorm, and then next week in the truck when we get a chance to get back in the truck. All right, talk to you in the next one.